My religion is a disease. My religion is a disease. Religion is a disease. That's what somebody who I deemed for a long time to be a very good friend of mine, somebody who I thought was strong of moral character, somebody you could rely on. That's what they called religion. That's what their response was to the idea that religion should be put in schools. The very thing that America, the country I live in, was founded upon. Now listen, if you are not religious, if you don't believe in God, then that's absolutely fine. But the story that I'm about to tell encapsulates the problem with a lot of the individuals who have this idea or this ideology. It's not simply the lifestyle choice. It's what is behind it. So as I was exiting the gym, I was working out, and I had a good friend who I won't reveal the name of due to my respect for them, who was out there, they were working out with me, not necessarily with me, but we were in the gym at the same time. We were doing our workouts, and every time we passed each other, we'd have like a good interaction, a friendly interaction, what friends do. So as our workout came to a close and the gym was about to close down and shut down for the night, so we were exiting, we brought up the topic of what's going on in this country and our beliefs, and we brought up the man himself, Charlie Kirk. And that's where things took a somewhat drastic turn. Now, his exact words to me was, I've been meaning to talk to you about this because I like you, and, we saw, first of all, he said we, so there were multiple people in on this who saw my beliefs on the situation, in which I specifically stated that it was wrong. I never even, besides calling the man a hero, which he was, I never specifically said anybody else had to not celebrate him, but admire him and the work he's done. I simply said celebrating and slandering not only a dead man, but the way he died, saying it was justified or deserved, that's sick. That's sick and that's disgusting. That's what I said, and I know for a fact that that's what he was referring to. So we get into the conversation. It's the typical slander, fuck Trump, fuck Charlie Kirk, fuck Republicans and all of that. I'm the type of person who believes that I don't believe in echo chambers. I told him straight up, I'm like, hey, great, hey, I'm glad you want to talk to me about this, because that's how we grow as people. So yeah, let's talk, right? Let's talk about this. As soon as we get outside, I'm hit with the same exact rhetoric that I've been hit with before. The same, he's a racist, he's a fascist, he's a bigot, He hates immigrants, he hates women, and all of this, right? That's what they always say. They always start with that. I tell them, I've been begging for somebody to give me the proof. I've been begging for somebody to purport this and properly show me the error of my ways. If me calling this man a hero was a mistake, please show me why. Please show me why you feel this way. I feel it's very important that whenever we have people who disagree with us, we confront that. We talk to them about it. So that's what we wanted to do. A little bit after we got introduced and we sort of jumped into the topic, he says, okay, I can show you proof, because that's what I said. I said, show me proof. We need to get used to fact checking people. I said, show me proof. He pulls out his phone and he shows me what I'm thinking is going to be the fountain of youth. I'm thinking I'm about to read the Enchiridion. I'm about to read the Bible of all Bibles. I'm about to get a taste of all of the knowledge that just nobody has. It's the same exact out of context talking points. The first clip in this video he's showing me was literally 4 seconds long. Do you know anybody in the universe who can get across a clear, concise point that also has to force somebody else to get uncomfortable and think and be challenged so we can grow as people in 4 seconds? Because I don't. I've never seen it. I've never seen any college professor. I've never seen any national leader be able to say something that gets people thinking about important topics with full context in 4 seconds. That's ridiculous. And basing your ideology and your hatred. I don't think it should take much to love people, but it should take a lot more than it currently does to hate people. I don't think people should be basing how much negativity they feel towards another person on 4-second clips. That was the first issue. So as I'm starting to, hey, you know what, that clip right there, I actually saw the full context of that. That's not what he meant. Okay, so now we deflect, right? Keep in mind, I do not want anybody to think that it's okay. If you know who I'm talking about, which you 100% don't, even if you did, I would not want anybody to go and harass this person. That's what I'm getting to in this video. So as we get to talking more about these social issues and more about these issues going on, he's obsessed with my political stance and my values. I'm a Republican, and I didn't want to say that until now, but if I'm being honest, it's kind of impossible to ignore politics if you plan on living in this country, because at the end of the day, somebody's going to vote. We are the future. Us young people, we are the future. This mindset of our votes don't matter and this and that, even if they don't, if there's even a chance that our votes do affect the decisions being made in some way, we need to vote on what we stand for. And that's an issue, because he considers himself not necessarily a Democrat, but he believes in what is it that liberals call themselves? Progressivism or something like that, even though we're literally regressing with some of these ideals that we're purporting. But essentially, as I'm saying that I'm a conservative because I believe I'm for the people, I believe we should all love each other, I believe skin color shouldn't matter, I don't think we should be focused on any of that, he's basically calling me a liberal, a progressivist, or whatever their political stance is. I keep forgetting because I think it's all so ridiculous, and they stand for nothing anyway, so why should I remember their name? He keeps calling me something that I am blatantly telling him I am not. I'm a conservative. I believe in Christian traditional values. So that was the first issue that I saw. He kept trying to change my stance, forcibly label me something that I'm telling you I am not, because I do not stand for that. I do not stand for that crowd. Now, I don't think all Democrats are evil or anything like that. I don't believe in the left or the right, not necessarily as extreme as some people do. And I understand we have extremists in the world, but that's not exactly the point of everything. And so, aside from the fact that he kept trying to label me something that I wasn't, you could see the visible unhappiness on his face that I had different beliefs than he did. Why do we have to be like that? Why is me having a different view from you a problem? Why is it such a problem that you are visibly upset? I can see the discontentment in your face. Moving on, we spoke about reproductive rights and our stance on abortion, because he said Charlie Kirk was a bigot who was against women's rights. So when I specifically doubled down on what rights he's talking about, we talk about abortion. And the first thing that happens is we start, and when I say we, I mean this very loosely, because I don't believe that comparison needed to be made. Do I believe abortion is worse than the Holocaust? That's the question he asked me. Yes. Yep. I believe abortion is worse than the Holocaust. Now, how does a woman get pregnant? Before we get into that question, let's look at the actual stats. Let's look at the facts. Only 1 to 2% of pregnancies involve rape as a life of the mother, right? In those specific instances, 100% let them get an abortion, right? I don't believe anybody should die over unfortunate circumstances that were thrust upon them. I don't believe that. But at the end of the day, in order to get pregnant, you have to open your legs and you have to let somebody impregnate you. You can't just get pregnant for no reason. It doesn't happen like that. So, it's not a thing of rape. It's not a thing about essay. You can only get pregnant by choosing to have sex. If you cannot abstain from sex, you should not be having it. My bad, I had to stop the video because some people were just rolled up in a car and started staring at me. So I had to figure out if I was gonna have to get active or not. But in a situation like that, absolutely, yeah, let them women get an abortion. But if you are not able to control what you do and who you let impregnate you, you should not be having sex, 100%. And you can sit here and talk about saying, oh, that's all right, this and that. No, it's bullshit. You can control yourself. Sex is not needed to live. It is a recreational activity. And yeah, I may not be the perfect advocate for this. Maybe I'm not a person who has always lived by this principle and I've never been holier than thou. But now I have a firm stance on if you are not ready to have a child, you should not be having sex. For some reason, that is a problem. I don't get why that's a problem. It shouldn't be an issue. I shouldn't have to be demonized for it. You shouldn't be looking at me like I'm some dickhead, because I believe that my daughter, let's talk about my daughter. I'm not even talking about all the other women out there. I'm going to teach my daughter not to open her legs unless she is ready to accept the possibility that a child could come out of her, right? And she would bring life into this world. If she's not willing to do that, her legs remain closed. And he asked me a very interesting question. He said, okay, shouldn't we be accountable to the men as well in this equation? So I'm like, absolutely, we should be accountable to both parties. He brings up chopping our private areas off, chopping our genitalia off. So obviously, if you've been paying attention up to this point, that's a very radical thing to say regarding the context of the situation. So I asked him, okay, if we were to do that, if that was our solution to this whole idea of not having sex and having some self-control, then where do you see us in 100 years? We're going to all die off. Is that what you want? And he said yes. Not only did they call me a Christian nationalist, he said, word for word, if we were all to die in 100 years, that would be better. That's self-hatred, bro. I understand humans aren't always the best, but to want us all to die in 100 years and that just be the end of the line? The people who embrace this ideology, it all comes from a place of self-hatred. They hate themselves. They despise the fact that they are alive. At least most of them do. And I'm not talking about liberals. I'm not talking about Democrats. I'm talking about the people who want to force us not to believe our own eyes, who believe a man was justified in dying, hurling insults that were inaccurate at him because they said some things that made the individuals who curse his name think, and because they go against what these individuals want. These selfish, twisted ideologies that allow a grown man with a dress on to enter your daughter's bathroom and that be perfectly okay. That allow grown men to get a surgery and automatically start competing in women's sports, regardless of the fact that the effects of testosterone are not reversible. Your bone density, your increased lung capacity, the inherent advantage, overwhelming advantage in strength, they're okay with all of that. Because progress, that's what they call it, progress. No, this is self-hatred. Because you hate yourself, you're trying to tell yourself you're something you're not. And because people don't want to conform to this ideology, it's a problem. We're demonized. Our religion is a disease. Last time I checked, what about love and tolerance and acceptance? First of all, love means not lying to people. I'm not gonna lie to my daughter and tell her that she's Bumblebee because she wore a costume for Halloween and she wants to keep it on the next day. She's not fucking Bumblebee. She's my daughter, right? So first of all, love is not lying. Let's get that through our heads. Number two, acceptance and tolerance, you talk about it, but you don't exercise it. The moment we don't agree with this lifestyle or said lifestyle, but we're not bothering you, it's a problem just because. The straight white male is literally under attack just for existing. And this is coming from a black immigrant. White people. First of all, I do not see you as white people, I see you as people. But just to get my point across, you did nothing wrong. You owe us nothing. We don't deserve any reparations, none of that shit. We are capable of working and going out there and getting it ourselves because my culture, black people, we are excellent, we are intelligent, we are strong, and we are just as capable, and we are free. We have equal rights. There's nothing stopping us. This feigned virtue that everybody's no. But where does that leave us, right? I'm not saying that these people are just deranged and crazy. Although these people are crazy, and I do believe some of them just need help, they need compassion more than anything. To curse somebody and to hate them simply because they do that to you is a testament to your character and not theirs. Yeah, it may feel justified when somebody demonizes you for your beliefs to insult them and call them a racist, Nazi, fascist, but at that point you stand for nothing. These people stand for nothing, and the worst thing we can do is mirror that behavior. when what we really need to do is continue to be loving, continue to show them the affection that they clearly don't have for themselves until they learn to develop it. But yeah, that conversation hit close to home. That was kind of painful to go through. And although we have drastically different beliefs, I still have love for him as a person simply because he treated me respectfully. He never disrespected me. He never treated me like I was less than. So I will never sit here and come on here and say, oh, he's a bad person because he believes different. However, it's very clear that this is a self-hatred issue that's spreading throughout the culture right now. And this unrelenting affirmation of things we know not to be true is a problem. Nobody's religion is a disease because you don't agree with it. And last time I checked, being a God-fearing man, being faith-driven, having family values, and believing that a man is supposed to protect and provide and take care of a woman. If he goes on a date with a woman, he opens that door, he pays for that date, he does his responsibilities. And believing that a woman should not go out having casual sex every day because that literally breaks her psychology. Believing that a woman is beautiful and feminine and not a fucking costume that you can just put on and feel like, oh my God, I'm a woman, I can get pregnant. You don't have a period. You are not a woman. Women are not that simple. They're not a toy. They're not a costume you can just put on. I don't think anybody should be demonized for their beliefs like that. And if you're somebody watching that believes differently than me, if you don't believe in Christianity, if you are a liberal, as they say, and you think that we should all just go and die, how about you just leave us alone? I pray for you. I'm seriously going to pray for you. I may not agree with your lifestyle choices, but you're a human being above all. Give us that same respect, please. And if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, if you disagree with this lifestyle, if you are a Christian, if you have Christian values and family values, do not hate on these people. Do not spread more hate. Hate only justifies anger that's being thrown at you. Reciprocating hate only justifies the anger. Anyway, I'm not a politician, I'm not a philosopher, but I just thought I'd come on here and share my thoughts about this because this bothered me for some time, and I've been thinking about it ever since. I want more people who not only are like-minded, but people who aren't afraid to challenge one another in order for the betterment and growth of all people who believe in Jesus Christ. If you want to be friends, if you want to connect, please, my Instagram is in my channel somewhere. You don't even need to follow me. You can just DM me first. If you want to follow me, that's fine. Yeah, I just want to connect with more like-minded people. But don't confuse that for me saying I want more. Don't confuse that for me saying I want an echo chamber around me. If you're gonna believe what I believe it because you believe it. Stand up for it. And if we have disagreements, exercise them down in the comments. I'm here. We listen. That's what we do. That's how we progress as a society. Heavenly Father, please embrace the individual watching this video. Please shower them in your light, Lord. Please allow them to find themselves. Please allow them to continue to be true to their values and stand up for their beliefs and have the strength to defend what they know is right. In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. I've been seeing a lot of support. I'll end off with this. Although I've been seeing a lot of support, I don't believe I'm right about everything. Support and intelligence are not necessarily correlated as we're seeing in society today. So if you have anything to say that differs from my point of view, like I said, comment section is an open field. Please let me know. Amen.